Hey everybody, this is Stuart, and today I'm playing a new game called Path of Exile. And this is a game that's being developed by a small indie company. It's going to be a free-to-play game, and it's an action RPG or dungeon crawler game, similar to other franchises like Diablo or Torchlight. Basically, you run around clicking on stuff, killing monsters, and as you kill them, they drop gear, which enables you to be stronger and then go out and kill more monsters and get better gear. So anyway, this is just a new game in the franchise. I discovered this. A couple friends turned me on to it, and I've been playing it for about the last week, and it's really a pretty fun game. I think it is trying to do what Diablo 3 was supposed to do, and has done a much better job of it. And I'll get into a little bit more about why I like it later, but for right now I'm at the create a class screen. I'm just going to make a character real quick here to show you just some of the basics about how you get started with the game, what it's all about, and kind of what you need to know to start playing. So basically there are 6 different classes, and they're all built around 3 main stats, and the stats are strength, intelligence, and dexterity. 3 of the classes are focused on solely one of those stats, and 3 of the classes are kind of hybrids between 2 of those stats. So over here on the left is the Templar, and he is a hybrid between strength and intelligence. This is the Shadow, and they're a hybrid between intelligence and dexterity. Marauder is straight up strength. Ranger is straight up dexterity. Duelist is a hybrid of strength and dexterity, and the Witch is straight up intelligence. So I've already made I've done a Witch, a Ranger, and a Shadow already, and I'm going to go ahead with Marauder for this little quick playthrough here. As this starts up, this is currently in closed beta. You can actually get access to the closed beta by buying a support pack, which basically helps fund the developers and gives you some currency that you can use to upgrade certain cosmetic features of the gameplay. Again, it is free to play, but they are going to offer some features that you can use to upgrade certain aspects of your character that are not at all gameplay related. It's not going to improve, for instance, the quality or your ability to succeed in PvP. It'll just change maybe what your character looks like or certain graphical things, make it look different than you might want to. So first things first, I'm going to turn off general chat for the purposes of this tutorial. But another thing that I want to show you is this corner map up here. I don't think this is turned on by default. This is really helpful to have though, so make sure you have that clicked up here. You can also play around. There's a bunch of different options, and read through these. They're definitely worth looking at. But anyway, the premise of this game is that you've washed up from a shipwreck. You were basically being transported as a prisoner to a prison island, and you wash up here with your buddy. And really, this kind of intro tutorial area helps you learn a bit. Obviously, this zombie person starts killing your friend. You can kill him just by left-clicking, and he drops a gem. And the way that abilities work in this game, each class does not have an ability, so it's not like, for instance, WoW, where only the warrior had heroic strike and the paladin can never get it. In this game, any class can use any ability, and the way that these abilities are equipped is through gems. Now, certain classes are more likely to use certain abilities. As you can see, this is a red gem, which means strength, green is dexterity, and blue is intelligence. But theoretically speaking, any class could use any ability here, which kind of makes this game interesting. And one of the reasons I like this game, and I'll touch more on this later, is just the incredible level of depth and creativity that you could have with making your class. So as you'll see here, this guy that I killed dropped a weapon and a gem. And so this weapon has 3 different sockets in it, as you can see here, red, green, and blue. So as I put this, I just left-click, drag it into here, and you'll notice down here you now have an ability. So you have your default attack, which is basically just swing your sword. Then you have your special ability, which is heavy strike. All the resource systems for every class is based on mana over here, and so every special ability generally has a mana cost. So basically you can just start moving through the area, and you'll basically be faced with these monsters that you kill, basically, and just like Diablo or Torchlight or anything else, you just click on them and kill them. Down in the bottom left over here, you'll see flasks, and this is the healing and resource replenishment system. Excuse me. So as your health or mana starts to go down, you can drink a flask, and each flask has a certain number of charges, and those charges will replenish as you kill monsters. So as you can see, I had to use a health charge. It drained, and then it refilled as I killed some of those bad guys. I picked up a piece of or an item there that dropped. The lowest level quality of items is white, then blue, then yellow, and then I think orange are kind of equivalent to a legendary or super rare item. I've actually not yet gotten one of those. So you basically need to make your way along the shore here. As I'm moving along, one thing I wanted to touch on is the currency system. As far as I can tell, there is no currency in this game. There's no like gold or money or anything like that. The way that trading or buying things works is basically is bartering. You have to exchange items that you found, and then in return you'll get another item that will allow you to either equip something or make your skills better, or perhaps you could trade that orb in for the next thing down the line that you need. It's kind of interesting because that's just the first time I've ever heard of something like that where you don't have a gold system. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I'm going to probably fast forward here and skip through some of this clearing until I can get to town, because that's really the next thing that I wanted to touch on is some of the things that I have to do in town. One other thing I do want to note real quick here, since it just dropped, is that when you do get blue items, they are not yet discovered, which means that their attributes are not known. The way that you have to identify them is by using scrolls of wisdom on them, and the way that you obtain scrolls of wisdom is either by getting them through a drop like I just got there, or else by selling white items, and that white items generally get you a fragment of a scroll of wisdom. 5 fragments can be combined, into a scroll. So it's not a terrible idea off the bat to get white items and sell them. I should also note that I would advise not using scrolls to identify a blue item unless you think you're going to want to equip it. So if you don't think you're going to be using a bow, then it's probably not a great idea to identify that bow. Better to save the scrolls, since they are relatively rare at the beginning of the game. Better to save those and use them on items that you are actually going to potentially equip. Otherwise you might find yourself with an upgrade that you can't identify because you don't have any scrolls. So this is kind of the last mini boss before you get to the first little town area. Just a big brutish guy, not really any special attacks or anything. As you can see there, I got a couple specials. Down here, there's a couple notifications, and real quick before we go into town, I'm going to show you the skill tree. I'm not going to get into this a whole lot, but this is just to give you an idea of the depth of the game. I mean, this thing is huge, and the thing is, you can basically go anywhere with any class. So these six areas here are basically where each class would start on the skill tree. So down here is Marauder, and I think the level cap right now is going to be 100, and you can get some skill point level ups through quests, things like that. But in all, you get like 111 points. So even though I'm a Marauder and I start over here, and there's definitely some kind of core Marauder talents like life percentage or melee physical damage, since I'm kind of just a melee character, or at least that's what I'm maybe primarily geared towards. I could still technically get all the way up over here and like spell damage stuff in the witch area, or all the way over here in kind of the dexterity area. So it's kind of up to you to build your class how you want. Around the perimeter are some kind of core talents around in here that people will probably kind of be shooting for, but it's going to be really interesting because there's not really going to be like a standard cookie cutter build, or it'll be at least much more opportunities to diverge off of the kind of some of the core talents that people are going to want to get. Just for the sake of picking a talent, I have to either choose between more life or more damage. I'll just go for more damage for fun. This is the quest log over here. You can also access this by U, is the hotkey for it, and it lets you see what quests you've done. Also, you level up gems as you play, so make sure you continue to utilize the level up when you get it and make your abilities more powerful. Go ahead and zone in, and I think there's really just one more thing I'm going to talk about, or just demonstrate, I guess, and that would be showing how items are sold or exchanged. So come up here in the town, and there's a bunch of quest givers. I'm going to skip past what they have to say real quick. But basically, you would just go to sell items, and kind of a handy tool tip that you can use here is Control-click will auto place items over here into the sell thing. So for a long time, I was doing this, and that just is not fun. Somebody eventually typed this into chat. I'm going to go ahead and sell the scepter without identifying it, because I'm not going to use the scepter. That's more of like an int type thing, at least for right now. I'll probably hold on to that and maybe identify that, since I don't have anything better at the moment. But after you can use Control-click, you can just see what you're going to get for it. And like I said, you don't get money for selling things, you get items. So I'll get these things, scroll fragments to make a scroll wisdom, and then the little shards that could become an orb of transmutation. I'll probably cover orbs in another video and go over those in some detail. But for now, that's how you use stuff. You have your stash over here. It's a shared stash between all your characters, which is kind of nice. But anyway, you'll find some quest givers here. Hopefully this video is enough to get you started and give you an idea what this game is all about. I'm really excited about this game. You know, like I said, it's free to play, so it really isn't going to cost you anything. It is closed beta right now, as of December 4th. It's supposed to go to open beta anytime this month. I'm not exactly sure when it's slated for full release, but as I understand it, they're going to do a character and item wipe from closed to open beta. But once open beta starts, they're not planning to do a wipe between open and actual release, and somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding. So if you start playing open beta, which should be free to download in open beta, you should be able to count on being able to build your characters up and not having them wiped. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the game, please leave them in the comment section. If you have any requests for information about the game, or just questions in general that I can cover in future videos about this game, please let me know. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching.